Okay, guys, it's here. The arrest affidavit for Chad Daybell has been unsealed, and we're going to go through it point by point to see if we can find out how the police found the kids, JJ and Tylee Ryan, on Chad Daybell's property on the 9th of June this year. The first couple of points just outline Lieutenant Ron Bate from the Rexburg Police Department with over 27 years of experience, so we'll skip through to further points that relate to the arrest of Chad Daybell. Some of this I know you guys already know, but I'm going to include it just so that anyone who is not familiar with this story or they don't know the complete timeline, this will give you a little bit of an idea of how long we're looking at here for the entire case to come to where it's gone to now. Since November 26th, 2019, Rexburg Police Department in Idaho have been involved in the search for JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan, ages 7 and 17 at the time. The minor children's mother, Lori Vallow, has been charged with 2 felony counts of desertion of a minor child, 1 misdemeanor count of resisting and obstructing, 1 misdemeanor count of solicitation to commit a crime, and 1 misdemeanor count of contempt. The contempt charge is for failing to comply with an order in a child protection action in Madison County, Idaho, to produce JJ and Tylee to the Rexburg Police or the Department of Health and Welfare. She was required to produce the children by January 30th, 2020. Tylee was 17 at the time she went missing, and JJ was 7 when he went missing. Chad Daybell was present in Hawaii on February 20th, 2020, when Lori Vallow was arrested on the felony desertion charges, and the detective writing this was present at that arrest. Daybell was also present at the March 6th initial appearance in Madison County, Idaho. As such, the detective knows that Chad Daybell was aware of felony charges directly related to the location, health, and well-being of the minor children, JJ and Tylee. Since November 26, 2019, the Rexburg Police Department, along with the FBI, have been investigating the location and whereabouts of these 2 minor children. The last verifiable sighting of Tylee Ryan was on September 8, 2019 at Yellowstone National Park, and the last verifiable sighting of JJ Vallow was September 22, 2019 in his mother's apartment located at 565 Pioneer Road, number 175, Rexburg, Idaho, by Lori's friend Melanie Gibb. While the Rexburg Police and FBI have received many tips of alleged sightings since the beginning of the case, none of these tips have led to any verifiable or actionable information regarding the health, safety, or location of the minor children. Lori Vallow moved to Rexburg on or about September 1st, 2019, with her children Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow and her brother Alex Cox. Lori resided with her children at the unit in Idaho. Alex Cox resided in the same complex, initially living in the same unit as Lori and then moving into his own unit at number 107. Lori Vallow's close friend, Melanie Gibb, has cooperated with Idaho and Arizona law enforcement regarding the investigation of the children. Melanie Gibb has reported that from September 19, 2019 through the morning of September 23, 2019, she visited Lori Vallow at her new residence in Rexburg, Idaho. Gibb reports that when she arrived in Rexburg, Lori Vallow informed her that JJ Vallow had become a zombie. Gibb further reports that the term zombie refers to an individual whose mortal spirit has left their body, and that their body is now the host of another spirit. The new spirit in a zombie is always considered a dark spirit. While the dark spirit inhabits the host body, the person's true spirit goes into limbo and is stuck there until the host body is physically killed. As such, death of the physical body is seen as the mechanism by which the body's original spirit can be released from limbo. This belief was told to Gibb by Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow had learned it from Chad Daybell and immediately told Gibb, Gibb was present with Laurie Vallow when Chad Daybell first taught Laurie this information over the phone in early 2019 in reference to Charles Vallow, which was Laurie's fourth husband. She married Chad in Hawaii last year, being her fifth husband. Now, for people who aren't aware, Chad Daybell has these end-of-day teachings and all of this stuff you've heard above about dark spirits and zombies and all of this. He's written several books that were on Amazon. I don't know if they've been taken down in regards to things like this, and it's quite disturbing, especially when we're talking about two children here. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that Laurie Vallow called Tylee a zombie in the spring of 2019. Gibb was on the phone with Laurie and heard Laurie calling Tylee a zombie, to which Tylee responded, "Not me, Mum." This arose out of Laurie requiring Tylee to babysit JJ, and Tylee did not want to. Laurie Vallow also told Gibb that Tylee had turned into a zombie when she was 12 or 13, which was approximately the same time Tylee had become difficult to deal with. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that she was told by Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow that they held the religious belief that they were part of the Church of the Firstborn, and their mission in that church was to lead the 144,000 mentioned in the Book of Revelation. They also stated their mission was to rid the world of zombies. On January 26, 2020, a search warrant was served on Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow in Hawaii, where they were living, and on their vehicle. The children were not found with Chad and Laurie in Hawaii, and no evidence was found to suggest they were living with Chad and Laurie. Through this investigation, we have discovered that JJ Vallow was registered at Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg the first week of September 2019. Kennedy School was informed that JJ had an individual education plan due to his autism. Kennedy Elementary was in the process of creating a new plan for JJ. On September 23, 2019, JJ had an unexpected absence. On September 24th, Laurie Vallow called Vicky Barton of the Madison School District and informed her that JJ was going to Louisiana with his grandparents and wouldn't be home until the end of October and maybe later. On October 29th, Madison School District was informed that JJ would be homeschooled. During searches of Laurie's apartment in Rexburg and subsequent searches of her apartment in Hawaii, no evidence of homeschooling material was ever found. No other school district has ever requested JJ's records from the Madison School District. As mentioned, the last verifiable sighting of Tylee Ryan was in Yellowstone National Park on September 8, 2019. Photographs established she was there with her mother, Laurie Vallow, her brother, JJ Vallow, and her uncle, Alex Cox. They drove there in Alex's silver Ford F-150. This trip was further established by tracking the GPS, cell tower connections, and Google account information on Alex Cox's phone. I just want to add in here, because I don't know where this affidavit is going. Laurie Vallow's fourth husband, Charles, was killed last year by Alex Cox, Laurie's brother. And he said it was in self-defense. This is just a quick piece of the body cam footage from that case.
What happened today? How did it get to this?
I don't know, he was enraged.
What's going on? What happened?
No. He was talking with my sister earlier.
No, what happened today though? Like just in the last 20 minutes.
He came at me with a bat.
Okay. Was he living here or
no.
visiting?
He came to pick up his son.
Okay, is the son inside?
No. My sister took him to school.
Okay, so it was just you at the house?
Yes.
And he came, how long, what time did he come to pick up the son?
I don't know, 20 minutes ago maybe.
Okay, so you know who he is, let him in?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think they were talking earlier, then she left, and then he got into it with me.
Like what? What do you mean?
I don't know, he was accusing me of...
Come on over here. That truck's going to be really loud. What was he accusing you of?
He was just yelling at me.
Okay, what was he yelling at you about?
About my sister, because I'd broken up the tussle with them earlier. and he told me not to interfere anymore with them or I'd pay. And he came at me with a bat.
Okay, so he showed up in the house with a bat in his hand?
No.
Okay, so...
There was a scuffle earlier with my sister and my niece. My niece got involved.
About earlier meaning earlier this week, earlier
No,
this morning?
just this morning, before they left.
Before your wife left?
My sister.
Before your sister left?
Yeah.
Okay, who lives here with you?
Nobody. I don't live here. My sister lives here and my niece lives here.
And you're just visiting?
I was visiting for the night.
Okay, so you're over here visiting your sister and your
Yes.
niece?
Yes.
Okay, and there was a tussle between your sister and her husband?
Yes.
And does the husband live here or no?
No.
Okay.
Lives in Houston.
Okay, is he an ex-husband or just current husband?
They're working on that.
Gotcha. So at some point earlier today, they get into some type of domestic?
Yeah, just this morning, then they left, and then he came at me.
They left meaning who? Both of parties? Or?
Yeah, my sister took my niece and my nephew.
Okay, so they left.
To create some space from him, and then he came at me.
Okay, but did he leave also?
No.
He stayed here?
He stayed.
So you guys are kind of talking in between or what? Who are you? Who are you? No, just go back. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So it's just you and your brother-in-law?
Yes.
Okay. And kind of go through it.
So,
say something like, hey, don't touch my sister, or...
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then he picked up the bat.
Where was the bat at?
In the living room.
Okay.
The guy inside me?
No, I haven't got it.
Alex was not charged. A couple of months later, Alex Cox, her brother, Laurie's brother, was found dead. Under normal circumstances, I want to say, nothing has come of it that we have heard from in the media, and there are a trail of bodies surrounding this case, as a lot of people know. Chad Daybell, at the time of all of this happening, was married to Tammy Daybell. She died last year as well, at the time supposedly under natural circumstances. Since then, Chad married Laurie 2 weeks after his wife Tammy died. They shared 5 children together. Since then, Tammy's remains have been exhumed, and we are still waiting. It has been months and months and months, but we are still waiting to see if the cause of death on Tammy Daybell has changed. Moving along, back to this affidavit. The Cellular Analyst Survey Team, hereinafter referred to as CAST, is an FBI unit that provides analysis of cell phone records and presents the information to law enforcement. CAST has analysed Alex Cox's phone and provided the location information mentioned in paragraph 13. The CAST analysis provides the location of Cox's phone. Due to my training and experience and common knowledge, I am aware that most individuals now keep their cell phones with them at all times, and the location of an individual's phone can be used to establish the location of the owner of the phone. CAST uses a cellular device's GPS data points, cell tower connections, Wi-Fi connections, and Google tracking information to establish the location of a cell phone. The GPS data points used by CAST are considered to be highly accurate and can place the device within a 6-metre radius. I don't know when they came across this information, and obviously it's Alex Cox's phone. I had said this all along. I think he had something to do with Tammy Daybell's death, Chad's wife. We know that he killed Charles Vallow, Laurie Vallow's 4th husband, and I always wondered, was he doing their God's work, and did he have something to do with killing and or burying the children? We won't know because he is dead, but these cell phone records suggest that he was there on both of those dates, which coincide with the dates missing of the children. However, I wonder when they received this information, because Chad Daybell's property was searched back in January. Back then, the ground was snowed over. It was too cold to dig. I understand that, but it just makes you wonder when they came across this information. CAST has further informed law enforcement that Cox's phone exited the west entrance of Yellowstone National Park at 1840. His phone appeared to be at Buckaroo's Barbecue Grill in West Yellowstone, Montana, from 1845 to 1902. Cox then returns to Rexburg at approximately 20:37. The phone is then at Laurie's apartment number 175 until 21:35, at which time Cox appears to go to the Maverick on Main Street in Rexburg at 21:43 until 21:53. Cox then went back to Laurie's apartment from 22:44 to 23:15. At 23:44, Cox is located at his residence in apartment 107. On Monday, September 9th, from 12 a.m. midnight and 0:44, Cox's phone was located at his apartment number 107. However, at 2:42 in the morning to 3:37 in the morning, Cox is located again at Laurie's apartment 175, where Laurie lived with Tylee and JJ. This is significant not only because he is there in the middle of the night, but also because this is the only time in September he appears to go over to Laurie's between midnight and 6 a.m. At 4:37 in the morning, Alex went back to his own apartment unit 107 until 8:59 in the morning. At 9:21, he was located at a property with the address 202 North 1900 East Rexburg, which is the residence of Chad Daybell. It should be noted that while Chad Daybell's address is listed as Rexburg, it is actually located in Fremont County, Idaho. The 921 reading is a GPS data point and places him behind the home on Daybell's property near the east end of the barn. And we've seen those pictures in the recovery of JJ and Tylee. There's a red barn on the back of Daybell's property, and this is where that GPS data point picked up Alex Cox's phone. Alex Cox's phone was still at the Daybell residence at 10:39 a.m. At 10:47 a.m, his phone shows a hit at the city of St. Anthony. At this time, we are unable to tell if he was actually inside the city limits of St. Anthony. St. Anthony is about a 5-minute drive from the Daybell residence, or if this was a cell tower ping on his phone while he was still at the Daybell residence. At 10:57 a.m. to 11:39 a.m, Cox is located at the Daybell property. At 11:52 a.m. to 12:02 p.m, he was at Del Taco in Rexburg. He appears to spend most of the rest of the day in his apartment. Through this investigation, the Rexburg Police Department and FBI have seized, searched, and analysed multiple cellular devices pursuant to several warrants. On June 1st, 2020, the detective was informed by Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI that the FBI had been examining a phone believed to be owned by Tammy Daybell. Tammy was Chad's wife and died on October 19th, 2019. The FBI found a text conversation between Tammy and her husband Chad Daybell on September 9th, 2019, which is the day after the last known sighting of Tylee Ryan in Yellowstone National Park. That text conversation reads as follows: Chad to Tammy at 11:53 a.m. Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times. Chad to Tammy at 11:56 a.m. Gonna shower now and then go right for a while at BYU. Love you. Tammy to Chad at 2:47 p.m. Good for you. Chad to Tammy at 2:48 p.m. I'm back home now. The detective found the text suspicious because raccoons are normally nocturnal animals and are not regularly out during the day. It should be noted that from interviewing neighbours of Chad Daybell, we are aware that in mid-July of 2019, Garth Daybell, Chad's son, told their neighbours that Chad had shot a raccoon out of a tree on their property during the day. Those neighbours are named Matt and Regan Price. Garth told Matt Price about the raccoon in response to a question from Matt about hearing a gunshot. The Prices informed me that the fire pit in the back of the Daybell property was hardly ever used until the last few months. Regan informed me that there appeared to be frequent bonfires in the pit on the Daybell property over the last few months, and the first one she noticed was soon after Tammy's death on October 19th, 2019. On June 2nd, 2020, Detective Bruce Mattingly of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office contacted Samantha Williams, who is the sister of Tammy Daybell. He asked her if she was aware of a pet cemetery on Chad and Tammy Daybell's property in Idaho. She informed him that she was aware of the pet cemetery and stated that both she and Tammy were pet people and that they had both had pet cemeteries. When asked the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property, she stated that it was east of the Red Barn and near the fire pit. On June 4th, 2020, the detective spoke with Samantha and she informed me that she was aware of the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property because Tammy had shown it to her. Samantha was then shown an aerial photograph of the Daybell property and she pointed to the same area near the fire pit where Alex Cox's phone pinged on September 9th, 2019. The above facts established that Alex Cox appeared to be at the Daybell property on September 9th, 2019 until at least 11:39 a.m. Chad sent the text to Tammy about burning debris and shooting and burying the raccoon in the pet cemetery only 14 minutes later at 11:53 a.m. The pet cemetery referenced by Chad Daybell is located at the same location as most of the pings on Alex Cox's phone on September 9th, 2019. On June 3rd, 2020, I interviewed Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend David Warwick in Pleasant Grove, Utah. We discussed in depth the weekend of September 22nd and 23rd, 2019, due to the fact that both Gibb and Warwick stayed at Lori Vallo's residence in Rexburg that weekend. Gibb informed me, consistent with information she had previously given to law enforcement, that she arrived in Rexburg on September 19th, 2019. Soon after she arrived, Lori Vallo informed Gibb that JJ had become a zombie and pointed out behaviours such as sitting still and watching TV, claiming JJ said he loved Satan and an increased vocabulary as evidence that JJ was now a zombie. Gibb observed JJ's behaviour and felt it to be the same as she has always observed it. The last time Gibb and Warwick verifiably saw JJ was the night of September 22nd, 2019. Warwick informed us that it was late and that Gibb, Vallo and Warwick were going to do a podcast. Warwick said that JJ was acting up, and so Alex Cox took JJ to his apartment in the complex. When Alex returned later that night, he was carrying JJ, who appeared to be asleep with his head on Alex's shoulder. Warwick specifically remembered this because he saw it as a tender moment. Warwick further informed us that when he woke up the morning of September 23rd, 2019, he asked Lori where JJ was. This was between 8 and 9 a.m. Lori informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen cabinets and had gotten on top of the cabinets in the space between the cabinetry and the ceiling. She informed Warwick and Gibb that when JJ had climbed upon the cabinets that he had knocked a picture of Jesus off the refrigerator. Vallo then informed Warwick and Gibb that Alex had come and taken JJ. The FBI CAST team has analysed Alex Cox's movements the morning of September 23rd, 2019 by his cell phone GPS. At 9:55 a.m, Alex is again on Chad Daybell's property. He was there until 10:12 a.m. The pings on his property locate Alex near the pond on Chad's property at the northern edge. On June 3rd, 2020, the detective asked Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI to analyse the frequency of Alex Cox's visits to Chad Daybell's property during the month of September 2019. His response was, "Per your request, I checked the visits by Alex to Chad's house again. There were only 4 visits by Alex during the month of September. These were on September 6th, 12:41 to 12:53, September 9th, September 23rd, and September 25th, 10:05 to 10:22. During the two visits, on September 6th and September 25th, all the pings were in and around the house, and there were no pings anywhere in the backyard near the fire pit or pond. As you can see, these visits were also short, about 11 minutes and 17 minutes, like the one on September 23rd, which was 17 minutes. The visit on September 9th was the only long visit, approximately 2.5 hours. On June 9th, 2020, a search warrant was executed at Chad Daybell's residence and property. With the assistance of a local FBI ERT team, we located at least multiple sites of interest. These sites were identified and corresponded to the cellular data of Alex Cox's phone when he was on the property, mentioned in paragraphs 12 to 16. Additionally, one of the possible sites correlated to a location on the property Chad had texted his wife about, mentioned in paragraphs 17 and 18. The first site of interest was located on the north side of the pond near the north edge of the property. This site corresponded with the two GPS pings from Alex Cox's phone on September 23rd, 2019. A patch of ground was located that appeared to be disturbed. The weed growth on top of the disturbed ground was shorter than the surrounding weed growth. What appeared to be sod etching was also noticed. The disturbed area was approximately 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Members of the FBI ERT team removed the top layer of sod. Underneath the layer of sod were several large flat rocks. The rocks were removed and 2 pieces of flat panelling were found. The panelling was removed and investigators exposed a round object covered in black plastic. Upon exposing the round object covered in black plastic, a strong odour was noticed. An FBI ERT member used a small sharp instrument and made a small incision in the plastic, and a layer of white plastic was observed. An incision was made into the white layer of plastic, exposing what appeared to be human remains, the crown of a head covered in light brown hair. The remaining dirt around this object was methodically removed, exposing what appeared to be a body wrapped in black plastic. The plastic appeared to be tightly wrapped around the body and secured with grey duct tape. Cheryl Anderson, Associate Professor of Anthropology at Boise State University, was present on scene and advised that the remains found near the pond appeared to be human. A second site of interest was located behind a red unattached outbuilding located roughly in the centre of the property near a fire pit. Next to the fire pit is an area used as a pet cemetery. This site correlated to several GPS pings of Alex Cox's phone on September 9th, 2019. Ground in this area was probed with a steel pole, and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During a search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found. A backhoe was used to dig further layers of dirt. While doing this, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. Once the bricks were discovered, the soil was examined and what appeared to be 2 bones were located. Based on the condition of the bones, Cheryl Anderson was not able to determine whether the bones were human. Methodically, the dirt in this area was searched and several other items of interest were found, including other bones, charred tissue and charred bones. Cheryl Anderson indicated that these additional bones, both charred and uncharred, and tissue found were human remains. Investigators provided photos of some of the partial remains that were found at the pet cemetery to Sarah Getz, PhD, a forensic anthropologist. Dr. Getz was able to identify those remains as being non-adult human remains. While officers were conducting their search, Chad Daybell was observed by officers to be continuously watching where officers were searching. He was observed watching officers while sitting in his vehicle in his front driveway and while sitting in his vehicle across the street at his daughter's residence. Around the time the head mentioned in paragraphs 32 and 33 was discovered, Chad Daybell was observed leaving his daughter's residence in a grey SUV. The detective and other officers pursued him in police vehicles, conducted a traffic stop and detained him due to the fact that human remains were discovered on his property. Dated 10th of June 2020. So neither Chad Daybell or Lori Vallow have been charged with murder, but we fully expect that those charges will be coming. This is just a terrible, terrible story, but I'm going to keep you guys updated, and hopefully justice will be served for JJ and Tylee.